There has been a containment breach. Abandon the premise immediately.
Okay, so welcome to the world of Endoparasitic, the only game where you can literally single-handedly take down an entire hive mind using science! Okay, so you're probably happy seeing me go back to the usual style without a disclaimer due to one reason or another. And these games are pretty straightforward, actually. I think it's going to be a fun way to ease myself into a new software I'm using. Because normally when I would edit, I used to use CapCut because I wasn't going to give Adobe a dime of my money. Because, I don't know, but $100 and something a month, if I remember correctly, is not worth it. Call it a hunch. I think that's entirely not worth it. I didn't know about the one I'm about to talk about yet. So I was using CapCut because it did what I needed to do, and that was about it. But I was listening to Markiplier, Wade, and Bob's podcast, Distractables, and he was like, yeah, everybody should switch to DaVinci Pro, and I was like, you know what? I trust that guy, so I did. Now I'm using DaVinci Resolve. It took like hours to get set up, but hey, now I got it all working and jazz, so, yeah. I figured this video would be a nice one to ease myself into this new software, so, yeah. So, anyways, into the lore of Endoparasitic. So, a while ago on the asteroid base where the first game takes place, but a little before the events, a man known as Karis got pretty close to Sint, our player character, and Karis left without saying much or anything. It makes me think they were in a relationship or something, which was more than professional. A little bit closer, you could say, but it's always just implied, never directly said. They might have, they might not, or they might just been really great friends. We don't know. Everything's implied when it comes to that. But anyways, so we start our story when we discover a strange parasite that can mutate things. And certain things could be chosen and ascend to being almost godlike, as they're described. It comes from a different old universe, much older than ours, by like a shit ton. And now we get into our main people, which we learn a lot of these through notes and terminal logs. But we learned that Sint did a lot of unethical experiments with the parasite, and is overall an absolute asshole. Has no care for other people, and just hates everyone, I'm pretty sure. Which Luce found this and thought he was an awful guy. Another one of our many cast of characters is Pravi, the guy that discovered a vaccine that can slow down the spread by a ton. At some point, Luce had a dream about the parasites wanting to make her the chosen one. Some fucking Star Wars shit there. She gives them a scarf. They spell out the words "you." She immediately got to work on a plan to release them. And with Sight proposing a wide exposure test, She knew that they would never suspect her, so she immediately released them and immediately got to work. And that's how we only have one limb now, which you probably seen at the beginning of this video. Now that we have only one arm and a strong will to live and to continue research, we turn off the emergency evacuation procedure. So we eventually get a pistol and kill some of our old coworkers with like zero fucking remorse. Yeah, this guy's kind of fucked. Which, given what we know about him, it kind of makes sense. Anyways, we get to work. So we work our way to get to the escape pod. So we can... Well, I'm not actually sure what his plan is, but I don't know. We get... I don't know, to get to a ship and find a cure, I guess. Not entirely sure what his motives are. At the moment, I just really got it, which is... Or I completely forgot it. Entirely possible. I kind of forget things right after watching it. So we eventually get the shotgun, and this thing brings me happiness. Mainly because I love shotguns. It might be because I have no skill when it comes to aiming, but I just love shotguns. Anyways, we work our way through this facility, seeing some of the awful mutations it can and make us learn a lot about the story. We learn a lot of the story through terminals that I didn't mention, just about how much of an asshole Sint is. He is, like, one of the worst humans, like, ever. He has every single horrible aspect you can get. He's egotistical, he thinks he's better than everybody, he believes his research is above all else, and thought his research was more than simple people's lives. To do a lot of death. With this abuse is probably what caused his rudeness to her, Lucy, and just constantly belittling. The main reason I think she completely jumped into the parasite, I just think that's the reason. Which practically makes Pravi is like the guy that's morally good, Lucy is the simple one, and so Pravi is usually like, hey, you can't do that, that's immoral, and shit like that. But is lead to the whole facility but anyways, this leads to the whole facility getting overran, but always. So I will say, we discover some rats. I fucking hate the rats. These things brought me so much anger during my first go-around. Anyways, at some point, we get the flare gun. I love this thing. It is peak. After the blur that is most of this game. So I'm actually going to talk a bit off script because I kind of made this really late at night, so I forgot a couple things. So, essentially, we do, like, a lot in this game. Like, a lot. But we see a lot of, how it mutates them in interesting ways. There are these ones that, completely based on movement. If you're too loud, they will take a chunk out of you. Or, the rats. I hate the rats. They fucking suck. But yeah, a lot of them are just... It's interesting because these mutation strain for the basic ones are different from the ones in the second game. Meaning, the Ark ship has something different from the asteroid that causes the mutations to be different, to more adapt. To be more well adapted to the asteroid rather than the Ark ship. Which is kind of insane. There are hunters that can literally fucking teleport or go invisible, then uninvisible, I'm not sure. but they can teleport and then lunge at you. There are also these, like, big mounds of just biomass that when you shoot it, either it drops something that was sealed in it, or it releases either a rat or a basic infected. Which, a little confused by how that works, but it might be eggs or something like that, who knows. And, like, that's kind of the main thing we know about the parasites, kinda, because outside of that, there is a lot of other stuff that we don't really know, that we get some elaborated in the second game. But yeah, outside of that, that's kind of the last forms we really know about. But anyways, so, after the blur that is most of this game, we see Pravi get sent to the fucking afterlife, because, he got killed by a monkey that got infected by it and turned it into a massive thing. Which means it will infect any and everything and change it and twist it into its own little fucking, like, how do I put this? It mutates everything into what it wants. Kinda. It can mutate anything, essentially. But yeah. So eventually we get to the reception area, meet the hunters, which I wanted so much. I've wasted so much time just trying to kill them, originally. But then we see Luce one more time, and well, you know what they say, sometimes you can't explain something other than with itself.
Lucy, you should be dead.
I'm more alive than I've ever been.
You're the one who let the parasites out. I can't believe it. I didn't want to believe it.
For as smart as you think you are, you've been putting this together a little slow for my taste. I let the parasites out because they asked me to. They wanted to make me their god, not you. All I had to do was let them flourish.
How could they pick you out of everyone? You're half-witted, vapid, ignorant.
You're the ignorant one, Sint. You think being dedicated to your work, worshipping knowledge, and valuing science over others' lives and happiness makes you above everyone else? You're not above me. You're not above Pravi. You're not even above the lab rats. You're immoral, unethical. You have no compass, no virtues, and you haven't even got the self-awareness to care. Without feeling, you're nothing. That's why they picked me. This universe has too many men like you.
She sabotaged the comms. I'll have to get to the spacecraft before she does, or I'll be stuck here.
I won't kill you, Sint. The parasite will do a fine enough job of that.
You're just going to leave me here?
Why not? Isn't that what you would do? Good luck, Sint. May Pyrite have mercy on you.
Damn it. Now what?
Okay, so okay, so we get left on the asteroid to die. But there is a second game, and it is kind of cool. Because at the end of the game, she just fucking leaves, and we are left there to presumably die and survive. There's another mode called Epidemic Mode, I think, and it's another game mode. Outside story, and I don't know, it might be canon, might not be, I don't know, I didn't play it. Because that requires more effort than just move on to second game. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the second game.
I wasn't always like this.
The rocket booster's ready, and the Ark ship is close enough to reach. Well, hypothetically, I'll have to leave everything behind to meet the weight limit. I'm not sure I'll make it. I thought I'd die here. I made my peace with it. To whoever finds this audio log, leave while you can. There's nothing left here.
I made it. I made it. This place looks devastated. Something horrible happened here.
Okay, so it's been 3 months since the events of the first game, and he is just ready to die. But in a stroke of good luck, or reality making him finish what he started, a Ark ship is close enough for him to use a pod to make it to, but he has to leave all his weapons. No! My precious shotgun! So, now he is on a new ship. We discover this is the same place Luce came to, and through audio logs we discover that she came onto the ship and blended in until the time was right to spread, and when they did, the ship got overran really quickly, but from what we know, the bridge is the only safe spot. So we started heading that way, and along that way we find a new pistol. Okay, so where were we? To spread, Jesus. Here's to hoping I can get further into my script. Okay, so yeah, get to the bridge. We find a new pistol, which I'm going to say this now. The way the fucking upgrades work is so fucking annoying. You just like remove more of the fucking handle that shouldn't be removed for the fucking ammo cap to go up. It makes no fucking sense. It's so fucking random. And I find it both funny and annoying. After playing it with a gun, a friend of mine watching, he pointed it out and said it was probably, he'll probably never see this, but yeah, you know who you are. But anyways, as we go deeper, we learn that on this ship, they have mutated in a different way, as we learn. Scythe thinks normal people with nothing really important going on, which he thinks they're vapid. Anyways, so yeah, we learn that they mutated differently to where they only have one arm as well, to where the limbs when they die will pop off and chase after you. They can turn fucking invisible. There's the fucking Hydra that, when the lights are off, it'll spread out 6 fucking heads, and you have to kill all of them before you're able to kill it. Which, I don't understand how lights off would affect literally fucking anything. But hey, apparently it does. So yeah, we have a whole rogues gallery of fucked up creatures that are worse than the last. In every single aspect. They are so much more difficult to deal with because not only, the reloading's a lot easier, it's just the aiming is definitely really difficult compared to last time. And with various other aspects of the game, it is genuinely difficult. But boy, oh boy, we get my precious shotgun. And oh my. The fucking style it gives me, man. This has some DMC vibes. Absolutely useless mechanics on how guns work, but boy is it fucking stylish. We eventually catch up with someone, an old and only friend. Garrus, apparently, sometime after leaving the asteroid base, he just picked up doing stuff on the Ark ship. And fate bringing them together. He says, I give you stuff if you give me research specimens. After we have a grand old talk.
Hint? Karis! Is that really you? You look like... hell.
I was gonna say that you've seen better days.
That's the nice way of putting it.
It's wonderful to see a familiar face. Look, I know I didn't leave on the best terms, but I think we can help each other. I can't survive out there like you can, but I need samples from the mutations for my research. If you can bring me samples from the creatures, I can give you vaccines and supplies.
If you keep me stocked, I'll bring you whatever you need.
Here.
What's this?
A comms radio, so we can communicate wherever you are on the Ark ship. If you can bring me back a mutation sample, I'll have some supplies ready for you.
I'll do what I can.
Thank you, Sent. It really is good to see you. Everything went wrong when an outsider boarded the Ark ship a few months ago.
I know. She's from the asteroid base. We were researching the parasite when it got out of hand. The parasite has a sentient hive mind, and its goal was to find a host and spread. Luce came here to spread the parasites to the passengers, then to Lamantria.
So that's what happened to you? You were attacked by a mutation?
Months ago, yes.
And you've just been living out there? For months? How did you survive?
I don't know. I just kept going, I suppose.
Okay, now that I'm recording this an hour after the last one, I was talking about Karis. Yeah, kinda heavy, so we go up and get a flashlight and less the power out segments. I fucking hate these. The way the game works makes the lights out section so annoying. My gripes aside for now, at some point we find out okay, at some point we find we found something that I don't know what the name is, but I've heard them called the parasite cyst, when you kill them, it makes everyone on that level get pissed. So sometime later, we get a threat sensor and stun gun. And it looks like the Magnum from Halo. Holy shit! I've officially made 2 references to what I've been doing lately. That's a record. Oh, wait. Maybe not. Indie Smash had V1. Hollow Knight. That's also 2 things. It was at that moment. Oh, wait, no. This one's more because I also mentioned Devil May Cry. Something I really been messing around with here lately. So, anyways. So, we get another sample and have a interesting conversation with Karis. We'll get back to that in a minute. So, the lights out sections are really horrible with the way, like, I understand what the game dev was going for completely. It was just the way everything worked and was set up made lights out sections incredibly difficult. And, you know, aiming's pretty hard in this game alone. Skill issues aside, I know what you're saying. I can hear you from the future. But it's just mainly the whole... How do I put this in a way that doesn't sound like, yeah, I'm bad. I'm not coping, I swear. It's the way that flashlights work, because it's under the weapon, and it can make figuring out where exactly you're aiming more difficult, because it is kind of difficult in how the normal game works, outside of the arms being literally impossible to hit always, because I've shot them before and it didn't register. Those sections always made me mad. But anyways, like, I get what the game dev's going for. Definitely needs some tweaking, but after that, I think it'll be better. I know the game dev will never update the game. I'm just yelling into the abyss here with this one. Unless if by some happenstance you're watching this. If so, you better comment something. Just saying. So yeah, with that being said, there's also the parasite cyst thing, whatever. They are uniquely awful. Because it makes it where they move faster, which already, with how they normally move and how the pistol works, makes them nearly impossible to hit, given my skill level. I'll admit this one might be a bit of a skill issue. So I just use the shotgun, but if you're like me, my first time ever playing this, you will have absolutely no fucking equipment outside of enough adrenaline injectors to make even your biggest, beefiest roid rager go down in 5 seconds. And you have enough pins to write a full-length fucking novel. You could write, with the amount of pins you get in this fucking game, you make Stephen King's writing look like a fucking 5th grader's essay that barely understands how to write more than 4 sentences. So yeah, I generally never really had this stuff to make the shotgun shells. Only the other 2 parts that you get drowned in. Game dev, if by some chance you're watching this, decrease the amount of pins you get and increase the other 2 stuff. Not the adrenaline injectors, keep those the same. They are genuinely a godsend when you need them. But anyways, we have a interesting talk with Karis.
Here's the first sample.
Excellent. Thank you.
What are you studying?
Well, I've been investigating for a few weeks, and I think I can formulate an antidote to reverse mutation and eradicate the parasite without killing the host.
That seems optimistic.
Sin, optimism is all I've got left. Sin? I'm sorry for leaving you behind on the asteroid base. It was selfish. I just didn't know how to handle...
It was selfish.
Sin.
You were all I had. And you left.
I know. I'm sorry. I hope someday I can make it up to you.
The damage is already done.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say that one more time, I think. So, yeah. As we ascend through the facility, or go down, I could never really tell. Because I understand it's like, oh, level 1's up here and level 30's down there, but I don't know, it always felt like I was going up rather than down. Because the elevator makes up noise. Or what I think is up noise. I never went down on an elevator. I know this is completely off topic, but I've never pressed level 1 when I'm on level 2. When I'm on level 1, I'll go to level 2, and then I'll just walk down the stairs. I never thought about that. Anyways. We see a ton of interesting stuff and cool mechanics. But there is something that does feel missing from the game. I'll actually elaborate a bit. As we go through the facility, there are some pretty interesting mechanics, like with... As much as I hate the Hydra, I will admit it is a really cool ideal. Nothing, I don't really like it because, well, it does so much fucking damage, and you have to hit it so many times. Outside of that little gripe, I will say I really do enjoy it. It's just the light, the way of getting it, you have to turn the lights off. That's the only problem I really have with it. But there is, like, pieces that feel missing. Levels that feel like there was either supposed to be more, or it was supposed to have a story moment where we spoke to Karis or something. Because there are sections that just, where Sint says something, and it just feels like there's supposed to be more said. And, I don't know, there just feels like there is something missing. But anyways, we get really close to the boss room, go through the longest level in the fucking game. I swear, it has to be the longest level. Because none of the other levels have gotten me so annoyed due to the just amount of random bullshit and how long it is, how roundabout it is. But hey, we find the final specimen and, well, we take it back to Karis.
I just need one more mutation sample after this.
I'll keep looking.
Maybe we should talk about...
I'm fine, Karis.
You don't seem fine.
It was a long time ago. I didn't think about you. I focused on my research.
All right. Good luck out there.
Okay, welcome back to my phone so I can read the script. Okay, now I cannot talk about him for a minute. So, we hear some audio logs describing people who are starting to see their parasites as something you need to appear to as if you live forever, meaning they might be able to induce some sort of immortality, meaning Sid probably just survived without food. But getting sidetracked aside, we find a literal cult worshipping Luce, and we find the third parasite on the next level. So yeah, there's a cult worshipping Luce, or Lucy. I genuinely can't remember because, I gotta say this now. The game dev, the names are weird. It might be because of English translation, or it might not be their native language. But, Jesus. If this is, and it could be the sci-fi bullshit, where in sci-fi, no names are normal. And I never get that. I love ideals like that. Just, no. Please, no. Preferably, no. Because I like it when my game makes sense. don't mean anything mean by that. I like it when I understand, like, names. Like, it's never explained. There are some weirder names, like, Kojo. If you're a Ren fan, that name, or Kujo? Oh no, it's Kojo in the game. If you're a Ren fan, you could, like me, you would have been like, oh wait, no, that's Kujo. You correct yourself while reading it, like, Kojo, oh wait, that's not the guy he diss tracked, no. But yeah, there is a lot of really weird names, I don't get it. But anyways, so we find the last specimen and have a talk with Karis. Our last talk.
Ad secula cerebrum, carry us forward. I am the more that I have, and I have the more that I am. For the adorned one! Ah, a new follower. Welcome.
No, I'm not.
Oh, adorned one keeps us alive, and we keep her alive. Yes, yes.
She's keeping you alive.
She keeps the bugs happy, you see. That's what she does for us. As long as we provide new flesh, we'll live forever with her. And you're welcome to join us.
Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have another follower. You're a little light on flesh and bone, though. May not do well as an offering.
You're insane.
No. No. Not an offering. Not yet. Anyway.
Oh, adorned one keeps us safe. As long as we keep sacrificing people.
What happens when you run out of people?
You're a funny man, sir. I hope they let us keep you for a while. Don't itch, don't itch, don't itch.
They're in my brain. I can feel them crawling in there. Is that normal? Is it? They're hungry, man. Maybe after the next sacrifice, I can...
Are you people eating the dead crew members?
Huh? Well, I mean, I think so. Sometimes I'm not sure what the rules are.
That should be all I need for the antidote. Here's some supplies.
Thanks.
If you give me some time, it'll be ready. I'll come back in a little while. My antidote. It's ready. Time to give it a shot.
You're going to test it on yourself? That seems risky. Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm so happy I got to see you again, Sint. It kept me up at night thinking I'd never... It doesn't matter now. I'm just glad you're here.
Karis, wait. No! No! No, no, no. No, not you two. I'll come back for you. I promise.
Okay, so, walking over to my script so I can read it. Okay, now I cannot talk about... Okay, wrong one. Okay, so, they are insane. And we lose our dear friend, we have nothing left to lose. So we go to the final level and face Lucy after once and for all, and at the end, we're right where we started. We end where we begin. Poetic almost.
Oh, God. This has been going on for too long. Luce, you're...
I'm perfect. This is the way I was always meant to be. I just have to make it. Make it to Limentria. We need more.
You won't make it that far.
Sint, I wish you would have killed me when you had the chance.
But now the unworthy must die!
It's a shame, really. What a waste of resources. I'll fix this. No matter what it takes.
Okay, so... we end this as we start. Alone on a ship trying to fix the pain and misery we started and make up for our mistakes that... Okay, so, quick sidetrack. Before we get into the other sidetrack, Lucy has been mutated beyond all hell, and the parasite is mainly in control rather than loose. And yeah, we managed to beat her. Her head just fucking explodes. I assume the parasite went all the way up and blew the fucking head up. Now, we're gonna sidetrack. That's all the content that we have. This would normally be the end of the video, but I had a dream. Shit you not. Anyways, so I guess theory just dream segment? So, I had a dream after beating this game, my first go, where the game was... Why is this dog yelling? Okay, she stopped, apparently. What the fuck? Why are you barking? Okay, I think she stopped. I don't know why she's barking. Why? But anyways, I had a dream about what the third game would be like. Where the game was pseudo-open world, but you would have to go through areas to progress levels. Like a mix of how Halo does it and Fallout New Vegas specifically. And we had the ultimate goal of finally curing the virus. Shit you not, real dream I had, which I barely ever dream, so I was fucking pissed. My one dream that month was on Endoparasitic. Anyways, so that's all I got for you today. So now it's the average YouTube outro time. If I missed anything or didn't mention anything you would like me to, tell me in the comments. Please share this with your friends. It would greatly help me get out into the algorithm, and I'd appreciate it greatly. Subscribe. It really does help. Like, comment, all that jazz. It really helps. And with that being said, it's time to say my catchphrase I said at the whim, but I adopted. Well, that's Loremaker, signing off.